2, 1, 2.
This is your time. This is your place. This is Flashback with Wes Britton on the Artist First Radio Network.
Hello, Seekers. This is Phil Proctor of the Fireside Theater, and you're listening to me or someone like me on Wes Britton's Flashback program. Flashback, back.
Hi there, this is Charlotte Stewart. You might know me from Little House on the Prairie. I was Miss Beagle. Or Twin Peaks. I was Betty Brake. Anyway, I just had the best time talking with Wesley Britton, and I hope you'll tune in Flashback and just have a wonderful time.
Hey y'all, this is Kim Wilson of the Fabulous Thunderbirds, and you're rocking with Wes Britton on Flashback.
Okay, what is the name of your show?
Flashback.
Flashback. Okay, sorry. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hello, this is Stephanie Powers, and you are listening to Flashback with Wes Britton.
This is Wes Britton, and you can meet my friends every Saturday and Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern here on the Artist First Radio Network. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Flashback with Wes Britton, and we're going back to the 60s jukebox again with a gent I know you know by the name of Tommy James, of Tommy James and the Shondells. And he's alive, and you can tell that from his new album, which is called Alive. And he's on tour, so you might be able to see him at one of the upcoming dates that you can find listed at his website, TommyJames.com. I'll be seeing him on August the 2nd at the American Music Theater in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, a great venue for these shows, as many folks out there know. And Tommy James is alive, and he's sitting right over there. Good afternoon, Tommy. How you doing?
Well, how are you? It's great talking with you.
Well, let me start off with a kind of silly question, I suppose. It's been 60 years, and I have never really known what's a Shondell.
Well, it just was a name I made up in high school with my cover band, the Shondells. I liked the way it rolled off my tongue. It sounded musical. Yeah. It had a lot of great syllables in it. It just sounded, of course, back in the day, it was anything with an ELLS on the end of it was fair game for a music group. So, the Hondells, the Schmondells, the Crondells, all this. So, that's how it happened. I found out later that it was a French word for an airplane maneuver.
Okay.
Who knew? Anyway, I kept the name. So it was on the original record, so we were kind of stuck with it.
Well, it's worked out over all these years. Well, if I get the story straight, you kind of started to hit the big time in a rather convoluted way with Hanky Panky.
That's true.
How did that song come about?
Well, basically, Hanky Panky was a record that I recorded actually when I was in high school with my cover band, the Shondells, and we recorded it in my hometown of Niles, Michigan, back in late 1963. It was released in early 64. I was in high school, and it was with the group that I was with in high school, my cover band. So the record kind of came and went, and we had no national distribution, so the record just kind of died. And in 1965, I graduated from high school, and I took my band on the road, and we were playing little clubs throughout the Midwest. And in early '66, I'm playing this dumpy little club in Wisconsin, and right in the middle of our 2 weeks, the club owner goes belly up because the IRS shut him down for not paying his taxes. So
I hate it when that happens.
So we were part of the damage. So we got sent back home, back to Niles, Michigan, feeling like real losers. But that's how the good Lord works, because as soon as I got home, I got a call from Pittsburgh that changed my life. This record, Hanky Panky, that I had recorded 2 years before that was suddenly sitting at number 1 in the city of Pittsburgh, only in the city of Pittsburgh. And so they asked if, they told me that it had been bootlegged, and they sold like 80,000 copies in 10 days, and we were sitting at number 1. Would I please come and do some TV and newspaper interviews? So I did, and picked up a new group of Shondells. I couldn't put the original group back together again, and a new manager. And a week later, we were in New York City to sell the master recording to a record, one of the major labels.
Wasn't that Roulette?
And it ended up being Roulette. It was quite a story, though, because we got a yes from everybody: Columbia, RCA, Atlantic, all the major labels. And the last place we took the record to was Roulette. And I had heard some rumors about them that they were, shall we say, mobbed up, but didn't pay much attention to it. So I went to bed that night. Everybody wanted Hanky Panky, and I went to bed that night feeling really great because we were probably going to be with one of the major labels. So about 10 o'clock the next morning, I start getting calls from all the labels that had said yes the day before, telling me that, sorry, Tom, listen, we got to pass. I said, what do you mean you've got to pass? I thought we had a deal. And finally, Jerry Wexler at Atlantic told me the truth, that Morris Levy, the head of Roulette Records, had called up all the other labels and scared them to death. He backed them down and said, this is my record. Back off. And that's just how he talked, too. And so we apparently were going to be on Roulette Records. That was the first offer I couldn't refuse.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yes. And so, sorry to be so long-winded with this.
Oh, no, it's a good story.
Roulette actually, if we had gone with one of the major labels, with a record like Hanky Panky, we probably would have been turned over to one of the in-house A&R men. That's probably the last time anybody would have heard from us. At Roulette, they actually needed us. And so we were given tremendous freedom at Roulette to put our own production team together. And at Roulette, first of all, they took Hanky Panky to number 1. And we ended up having 23 gold singles on Roulette over the course of the years, and 9 platinum albums. And I don't think we'd have had anything like that kind of success if we had gone with one of the majors. The competition would have been horrendous, and we wouldn't have been given free rein like we were. So at Roulette, we were sort of allowed to morph into whatever we could become. And so I'm very glad we ended up at Roulette. But that's a whole other story, and we'll cover that some other time.
Perhaps. As another instance of where a bad miracle turns out to be a really good miracle.
Absolutely right.
Well, while you were related, I always kind of thought of you guys as having kind of 2 periods. I gather you don't like the term bubblegum too much.
Well, I don't mind. The truth is, bubblegum is a very interesting kind of pop record, kind of pop music, and when we do it live, people love it. So I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I kind of wear it as a badge of honor.
Okay. I always thought those first string of hits were all kind of bubblegum pop, and then comes Crimson and Clover, and everything changes mightily.
Yes, sir.
How did that album come about? I just love that album to this day.
Well, thank you. Well, Crimson and Clover not only was our biggest single in terms of sales, immediate sales, but it also was strategically, probably besides our first hit, the most important record we had, because it gave us basically the second half of our career.
Yeah.
And Crimson and Clover was such a drastic change for us, And it came along just at the moment when when the music business went from singles to albums.
Yeah.
And, Roulette had sold a lot of singles for us. We were very grateful for that. We did really well on the singles charts. But in '68, the whole industry changed. It changed as a result, I believe, of the '67 release of the Sgt. Pepper album.
Oh, sure.
And after that, after Sgt. Pepper, the main thing you had to do was sell albums. Singles became sort of an appendage of your album, and everything was about album sales at that point. So we were very lucky to have to be working on a song on Crimson and Clover right at that very moment, because it allowed us to make the jump from AM. Also, FM radio came in playing rock and roll at that moment. So it allowed us to make the jump from AM-oriented singles to FM-oriented album sales. And it allowed us to make that jump. And I don't think there's any other record that we ever had that would have allowed us to make that jump in one leap like that. From Mony to Crimson and Clover was such a drastic style change that I don't think we would have been able to do it with any other record.
Well, it's also a good album with a lot of good songs. Who were the folks behind the scenes that helped produce that album and write the songs for it?
Well, that was me.
Ah, okay.
And with help from the group, of course. And up until that time, we had been produced by Bo Gentry and Richie Cordell, and who were great, but they were very involved in singles, and we really felt we had to move not only for album sales, but we also had to write and produce our own music from that point on. It was a matter of credibility in the business.
Yeah, those days, that's right. Yeah.
So that's just what we did, and thankfully we were able to do that. And so we wrote and produced the entire album and all of our albums from that point on.
You had a lot of great songs in there. You had Sweet Cherry Wine and Crystal Blue Persuasion, and
yes, sir.
It was just a wonderful period for you all.
Really was, and we're very thankful for that, because there was this mass extinction of singles groups.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at so many groups just ended their career right there where when albums took off. And there were very few of us that were allowed to continue on with our careers on radio after, I don't know what you would call it, the mass die-off of singles. Singles became much less important at that point.
Well, one story that kind of threw me a little bit when I was checking up you on Wikipedia was they were talking about how you had a health problem, and the Shondells went on to become Hog Heaven, and they have it as 70. I could have sworn, reading back, that I thought they called themselves Hog Farm, and were at Woodstock as kind of part of the aid or whatever, I'm not sure what the term would be, of helping people out. What part of that story is right?
That's pretty inaccurate. What happened was in 1970, the Shondells and I were exhausted. We had been on the road for 5 years. We had either been in the studio or writing or on the road. We were constantly having to maneuver. And we were just exhausted after 5 years, and we took 6 months off. And we just never got back together again. That really was the long and the short of it. A couple of the guys had other business interests, and I began producing other groups for a period of time. I produced Alive and Kickin' with Tighter, and I produced Patty Austin, and I did the group Exile. And so I just, finally decided to go back in the studio myself, and I did, the first song was I'm Coming Home, and then Dragging the Line.
Oh, my, yes.
And I had 12 more chart records as a solo artist on Roulette, and then finally I left Roulette in 74 and went with Fantasy Records. 75, and went with Fantasy Records out on the West Coast. And then I came back and we released 2 albums on Fantasy. It did okay. Came back to New York and had 3 Times in Love, which was the beginning of the 1980s with, it was great starting off with a gold record, which we went number 1 with, as a solo artist, went number 1 with 3 Times in Love, adult contemporary, and top 10 on the charts, on the pop charts. So that began a whole new episode. And then we started getting a lot of covers during the 1980s, and our songs in movies and things like that.
Oh, yeah, Billy Idol and Joan Jett, among others.
They did. In '87, they both had number 1 records with Mony, and I Think We're Alone Now.
Yeah.
And
Crimson and Clover.
Crimson and Clover was Joan Jett, yes. And we've had over 350 cover versions of our songs done, from everything from REM to Dolly Parton, and everything in between. And we've been very, very fortunate to have our music stay in front of the public like it has. And of course, I'm still on the road with a new generation of Shondells, and we're all over the place.
Well, I guess that should bring us to Alive, which is, by the way, folks, a really cool album. It's one of my favorites of 2025.
Thank you.
So one of the reasons for that is it's kind of a very varied menu. You got some remakes of old standards. You got some doo-wop in there. You got some ballads. How did this album come about? Because it's a really, really neat accomplishment, I think.
Well, thank you so much. It actually started out as an acoustic album. I was going to do an album, sort of unplugged. But then we got on the first couple of songs and realized, we can't do that. This thing it's electric and it's synthesizers and it's digital, and I was very, very fortunate that I kept up on all the digital technology and was able to go in the studio with it. And I've never really come out of the studio. I have our own record company now, and we released the Alive album on our own label, Aura Records, and we're distributed internationally now with it. We've been very fortunate because both the album and the first couple of singles went top 20 adult contemporary for us. So I'm very proud of that album, and I'm really glad you liked it.
Now, one of the songs you did was a remake of your old hit that we talked a little bit earlier. I Think We're Alone Now, and that one is acoustic.
That's correct.
How did that arrangement come about?
Well, basically, the new version of I Think We're Alone Now is going to be in our film. We released an autobiography several years ago called Me, the Mob, and the Music, which is the story of our crazy relationship with Roulette Records. And, of course, the reason it was a crazy relationship is because, unbeknownst to us when we signed with Roulette Records, Roulette was a front. In addition to being a pretty good little independent label, it was also a front for the Genovese crime family in New York. Yeah. And, of course, we didn't know anything about that. We learned that incrementally. And so the book, Me, the Mob, and the Music, is basically that story. And it's the story of our, while we were Mony and then Hanky Panky, and this very dark and sinister story was going on behind us that we really couldn't talk about. So we talked about it in the book, and the book's going to be a movie.
And when is this going to happen?
And a Broadway show. Well, it's in the works right now. Looks like it's going to be a series, like a 7 or 8 part series for.
Oh, it'll be streamed somewhere.
Well, it's for not only streaming but also for a Netflix, HBO. That hasn't been determined yet, but it's going to be a 7 or 8 part television movie. So rather than a theater, we were originally going to try to do it at the theater, but it's just not the way it's done now.
And if you want to tell a story, you need a longer period of time. Like you said, 7 or 8
That's
episodes.
Right.
That's
and
about
I think
8
We're
hours.
Alone now. The new version of I Think We're Alone now is for that film. And it's going to be closing credits. It's going to be the final song in the movie. And it was amazing how the lyrics stood up.
Oh, yeah.
All these years later. It was first out in the beginning of '67, and as a sort of a bubblegum love song.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, Morris Levy dies. It is the truth, the true story. Morris Levy passes away, and I Think We're Alone now is sort of the way we felt when he died. So we slowed it down, made it acoustic, and it really stands up in that very somber moment in the movie, kind of unbelievably stands up. And so we're putting it in the film, and we're really happy with that one.
The other song that's covered on your new album is Dragging the Line. How did you pick that one out?
Well, it was sort of an accident. I'm very friendly with a fellow rap artist named Tone Z, who's a Emmy-winning artist. He's very talented, and so we happened to get together and we started, just talking about songs we could do, and Dragging a Line just sort of fit the bill. And it was so there's he did a little bit of a rap at the beginning and in the middle, and I did a sort of a new kind of a vocal on Dragging a Line on the song, and we glued it together, and it really worked. And so I'm very proud of that. And I also am great friends with Tone Z, and we'll probably do something else before we're done.
Well, didn't he help you with another song on the album, the Stones cover, isn't it?
That's right. We did a second, so we did the Last Time by the Rolling Stones hit, and we did a new version of that. And Tone
very, very different from the original.
Yes, indeed, and Tone played a big part in that, too.
Well, one thing we forgot to mention is we started off this show by playing So Beautiful, because it's the first song on the album, and I thought, well, that's a great kickoff song for a show. Mm-hmm. What's the story behind So Beautiful?
Well, So Beautiful was just one of the new originals that I did. I've never stopped writing. I love writing. And it just sort of worked. I went in the studio, and we sort of did the track first, and then sort of wrote the song around the track, and did that also originally with Dragging the Line. Had the music track before we had the song, and so that's the way we did it with So Beautiful, and it worked.
Oh yes. What kind of response are you getting to it? I think you said there's a couple of them that are getting some good airplay on.
Well, yes, we actually, when the album first came out, we released it. This would have been 2020, and we immediately jumped on the charts. It's the first time we'd been on the Billboard charts in a long time. Went top 20 with it, adult contemporary, and I was really happy to be back on the charts after a long hiatus.
Oh, by the way, we were talking about the movie, and it's kind of a docudrama, I guess you could say. Are you playing you, or is an actor playing you?
No, they're picking the cast as we speak, and I have a great respect for casting directors, the young ones, because they know who all the young actors are. And the amazing thing is that so many of the young actors who could play the part actually started out in rock bands. I guess that's just peculiar to this generation. But I think Jamie Farr, for example, when he did the movie on Ray Charles, where he actually did his own music, sang his own music, and actually sounded like Ray Charles.
Did he?
I think he raised the bar pretty high, and so they're whoever plays me, the greatest challenge they're going to have is they got to find somebody who plays guitar as badly as I do, and so that's going to be tough. But they really have to get somebody who can sing and do the and do all the vocals. Morris Levy is another character that's going to be that's so important, because it's really the story between myself and Morris Levy, the head of the record company, and so that's going to be a challenge as well. But they're doing it. These young casting directors are really brilliant because they know who the young actors are.
And while all this is going on, you've got a radio show on Sirius FM, right?
That's right. Every Sunday from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Getting Together with Tommy James, and it's on Channel 73, the 60s Gold channel. And 3 hours a week. We're in our 8th year now.
Yeah.
And it was when they first came to me and asked me to do it, I was a little concerned because, first of all, 3 hours a week is a lot of time to fill up.
Yes, it is.
And you can get boring real fast if you're not careful. So
repetitive.
I actually, have to pick the music. That's 66 songs per week, and research them, and I do the stories on several of the songs over the course of the show, and do some interviews, and so it's really a challenge. But I was a little concerned because I had never worked that side of the microphone before. As much radio as I'd done in my life, I never really was a DJ.
Yeah.
And so now I have to be, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it. And finally, after about the second show, I was having a ball.
I can believe it.
Yeah. And so we've been doing it for 8 years now, and that's every Sunday from 5 to 8.
I'm willing to bet you get reacquainted some from old buddies from the old days.
Well, that's true, and also they asked me, Tom, we really would like you to play a lot of your own music too. I said, can I go to jail for doing that? They said, no, it's satellite. Don't worry about it. So, at any rate, so I get to talk about all the shows. During COVID, it was really a great way to stay in touch with the fans because the concert business was shut down for almost 3 years.
I do recall. Speaking of the concert business, in case you didn't hear me at the top of the show, Tommy is on the road now. Well, I guess now, but pretty soon, because I'm going to be seeing him on August the 2nd. But if you go to his website, well, you're going to be all over the place this summer, aren't you?
We're everywhere. We're all over North America. And it's really great to mix it up with the fans. I'm glad that we're still doing it. It's kind of hard for me to believe. I look out in our concert crowd now. I literally see 3 generations of people.
Yeah, huh?
And it's quite remarkable. And I love mixing it up with the fans. So, yeah, we're all over. You can come to our website or our Facebook page. We're all over social media. And as you say, we're going to be Saturday, August 2nd. We're going to be in Lancaster, PA, at the American Music Theater. And I love playing. It's a great theater. It's a great
it is.
to see a show. And the show starts at 7:30, and just love to see everybody there.
I think you've been there before as part of the Happy Together tour. Did I get that right?
No, I wasn't on Happy Together, but I have been there twice before myself.
Okay.
And so I love playing there.
Yeah. And I love going there, and I love meeting the bands there, because it's a good place to...
Don't be a stranger.
Well, we'll work that out between now and then.
Yeah.
Well, as we start to wind things down here, if we need to, we don't really need to, but there was all those songs on the album that we were thinking about picking out. I have got to ask that we play From the Neck Up.
Oh, my. Yeah. Well, you know how that got written. It's really a funny story. I was at my friend Gene Cornish's birthday party.
Oh, from the Rascals.
From the Rascals. And this is several years ago, and Carol Ross, my manager, who is now my wife.
Oh, I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. And her good friend, Carol Kay.
Yeah, I know Carol.
Yes. And they're both in the public relations business.
Yeah.
So they got to talking, and at that time, this is several years ago, Carol Ross's husband had just passed away. And Carol Kay's husband they were separated by divorce, and so they got into this conversation talking about, you know, are we supposed to date now? And I'm overhearing this conversation, and are we supposed to date now? What are we supposed to? I wish. Can't we just date from the neck up? And I said, whoa, what did you say? What did you just say there? From the neck up. I said, oh. And Carol turns to me and she says, you're going to write that, aren't you? She said, we should have at least publishing on this. I said, you get nothing. You get nothing. Anyway, we both cracked up. So anyway, I went home and wrote it. And the next, I just thought that was a brilliant title. Can't we date from the neck up? And so I just thought it was a brilliant title, and so I wrote a song about it, and made it kind of country style.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, I couldn't resist. I put it on the album.
Well, I guess that makes me think of the fact that you got so many styles there.
Yes.
From country to doo-wop. Where did the doo-wop come from?
Well, doo-wop shuffle. It was part 1 and 2. I just took my favorite doo-wop songs that were all similar, Little Bitty Pretty One and Do I Love You, and just a whole bunch of songs that were all basically in that shuffle groove, and recorded them, sort of linked them together, and did 6 of them, and six different songs, and sort of linked them together into just a kind of a rock and roll. I don't know what you call it, just a rock and roll
medley.
Rock and roll, yes, that's a good one. A rock and roll, several of them in a row, whatever you want to call that.
Mashup. Yeah,
mashup. That's the word. And we've had a lot of airplay with that, and it's quite remarkable because it really was just something that I've been thinking about and wanting to do for a long time.
Hey, you had an awful lot of fun putting this album together.
I did. I actually did. We had a great time, and we were all over the place musically.
Yeah.
And I had several important, Stevie Van Zandt was on the album, and Tone Z and Gene Cornish was on with me. And so we had fun.
Is this a harbinger of things to come? Have you got more albums like that in your mind?
Well, probably. The thing of it is, we have so much material, our catalog. Sony represents my publishing. The stuff from Roulette Records was a lot of stuff, and Sony represents the publishing, and Warner Brothers represents the masters, the recordings. And the two of them are just doing a great job, and the music's all over the place.
Yeah.
And I'm just so thankful that the music has stayed in front of the music fans for so long.
And here it is all these years later, and you're still at it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
What do you think the driver is that keeps you on the road and in the studio and writing songs?
I love making records. I love performing. And I love mixing it up with the fans. I always have. And thank God I've stayed healthy.
Yeah.
And am able to do this. And the fans just keep showing up, and they keep selling out the dates and keep screaming and keep yelling and dancing. So I'll take it.
Well, that's a good thing.
Well, we hope you enjoyed today's exciting episode of Flashback with Wes Britton, your open window of fresh air and new perspectives with experiences shared from entertainers from every walk of life who've influenced our lives in so many ways over the years. Come back every week for more FWB. And while I'm thinking about it, next time you're at Facebook, stop by the Flashback with Wes Britton Facebook page, hit the join link. No quizzes, no questionnaires, just your opportunity to get weekly bulletins of who's coming next on FWB here on the Artist First Radio Network.